Welcome to Blacksburg, Virginia for ACC College Hoops. A capacity crowd expected today inside Cassell Coliseum for NC State and Virginia Tech. Both teams arrive with identical records, 11-4 overall, 2-2 in the ACC, coming off big wins earlier this week. Hi, everybody. Evan Lepler with Brian Oliver. It's great to have you with us. Obviously, when these two teams met last year, it was billed as a top 25 high-scoring shootout. And what we got was anything but. Points were at a premium last year. Historically feudal 47-24 final. Brian, I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again.
And lucky for us, Evan, hopefully these two teams will put more points on the board today. But you got a magnificent matchup again. Two teams going in trying to get that third conference victory today.
You're making me nervous because you promised points last year and it didn't necessarily work out. But hey, Markel Johnson scored 27 points against Notre Dame on Wednesday. Not to rub it in, but that's 3 more than the Wolfpack had against Virginia Tech all last year.
And what he does for this ball club is that he's the guy that gets them going offensively. He's going to have the ball in his hand. He's going to score. He's going to set his teammates up. They need him to come out and be aggressive. And on the other side, Landers Nolly, one of the many freshmen for this Virginia Tech team that's been able to do it for Mike Young this year. A guy that you've got to get to him, knocks down the three, very offensive-minded. He has been the guy that has gotten them going today. If they're going to get this third victory, need him to come up big today.
That brings us to today's Toyota's Let's Go places. Markel Johnson, double figures in 11 consecutive games. Look at that, responsible for nearly 50% of his team's field goals over the last 5. And Nolly has been so huge for Mike Young's Hokies throughout the season. This is a fascinating matchup today between two teams that really are sitting in this mid-tier of the ACC, and it seems like it's wide open.
Well, I think what you see is that there's a lot of parity. Once you get down to those other teams, you got to win on the road. This Virginia Tech team went on the road and beat Syracuse. Today, North Carolina State is trying to get another victory. It's a toss-up and depends on who comes out hungry.
Starting lineups and the tip on the other side of the break. Kevin Keats expecting different things today. We are as well. Mike Young's Hokies, Kevin Keats' Wolfpack. Opening tip coming up.
ACC College Hoops is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. Husqvarna, all-star lawns start with Automower. And CPI Security.
We are set for the 58th all-time meeting between NC State and Virginia Tech. Wolfpack have won 70% of them, but the Hokies have won the last 2. Starting lineups presented by LS Tractor. Still no C.J. Bryce today for NC State. He practiced yesterday. He warmed up before the game today, but Kevin Keats saying he's still not ready to go, has not been cleared by the doctors. He'll miss his 4th straight game with a concussion. There is C.J. I think you and I were surprised because he looked pretty good yesterday in practice and today in warm-ups.
And we saw him going through the pregame warm-ups, and it looked like he was getting ready, all lathered up. But I guess trying to err on the side of caution. Today, we got a really good. I'm excited about this ball game today.
Winner of this game gets to 3-2 in the league, and if you can tell me who the 4th best team in the ACC is right now, don't try, because there's no answer to the question. One of these teams could be the answer in March. Devin Daniels, his first touch over in the corner for Jericho Helms. How well has he played lately? Pretty good defense, though, from Tyrese Radford inside. That guy plays so much bigger than he's listed at 6'1".
And, yeah, this Virginia Tech team is a smaller team, but very athletic. They will put their head down, and they'll defend. You saw Radford come up with a very good defensive play.
Nolly's first shot won't fall, but there's Radford doing big man things again. Speaking of, Manny Bates rejects it, his first of the game. Manny has already set the NC State freshman record for blocks. He passed by J.J. Hickson on Wednesday. And there's Braxton Beverly from downtown.
Good start for NC State. If you can get Braxton Beverly off, he's a guy, obviously, you know, scouting report says you got to get to him and not allow him to have daylight.
Brian, I promise I'm not going to make these comparisons all day long. But Braxton Beverly was 0 for 12 last year in what was a nightmare February 2nd against Virginia Tech. Great sign to see Braxton hit his first shot today. Nolly to answer. He's 0 for 2, and the rebound for Daniels. Helms fakes it. Takes it. And the rebound for Virginia Tech's Naheem Aline.
Good sign for Virginia Tech as they're limiting to NC State to 1 shot. They're going to look to try to run when they can, but they want to get their offensive sets and try to break down the NC State defenders.
Beatty on the floor, tried to call timeout. Instead, it's a jump ball, and it will stay with Virginia Tech. Gives us a chance to check our keys to the game. They're brought to you by your local Ford dealer. What you got today, Brian?
Well, I think that from this game, for NC State, make them pay in the paint. We talked about this. Virginia Tech team is not a huge team, but then on the other side, let it fly. Virginia Tech is a team that's going to shoot a lot of threes. This is how they live. Got to get off early to a good shot from outside.
Hokies went 10 for 36 from downtown in the come-from-behind win against Syracuse. Beatty comes up off the back iron, but a travel called on P.J. Horn after he secured the rebound. Mike Young taking over here in Blacksburg after Buzz Williams left for Texas A&M after 3 decades at Wofford. And I don't know about you, Brian, but he feels like such a perfect fit here.
How about the job that he's done from what was left from last year? You know, he had to go back and recruit some of these guys in Beatty and then Landers, Nolly, but he's done a magnificent job. Already a huge win and off to a good start for the ACC season.
Put together a tremendous freshman class late in the signing stages. Jericho Helms knocks down another 3, and it's 6-0 Wolfpack.
NC State off to a good job. Right now, they're a team that's going to move the ball. We saw a good pass over to Helms to knock down that 3.
It was 12 minutes into the game last year before NC State got to 6.
Are we going to have a problem? Are you going to keep this going on until they get past 24 points today?
It's just so flabbergasting, even 343 days later. In the corner, Daniels back to Beverly. Johnson, extra pass to the open man, Helms. Daniels banks it in.
Second chance opportunities is one of the things, again, for NC State. This is the team that crashes the board. They've got long athletic bodies. Off to a good start. See Virginia Tech, slow the game down, run your sets.
Here's Nolly. Oh, great defense. Johnson and Daniels both were there for the steal. And up high, Manny Bates with the emphatic alley-oop.
How about the start for NC State? The Wolfpack have come out, turning defense into offense, off to an amazing start. Good chance. You see the loop to big guy, Manny Bates, off to an NC State up by 10-0.
Very different from a year ago. Kevin Keats could not have imagined a better first 3 minutes and 37 seconds. The Wolfpack, who went 2 of 28 from 3 and made 9 field goals the entire game last year against Virginia Tech, are off to a near flawless start, and Mike Young has his hands full.
Yeah, NC State has come out and they've been able to knock down some shots already for a team in Virginia Tech that takes really good care of the ball. 5 points off of turnovers. And I think for Virginia Tech, you got to get started. How they live is being able to break down the defense. But on the other hand, North Carolina State does a good job of trying to disrupt what you want to do in the half court.
One of the fascinating things about this week for NC State, on Wednesday against Notre Dame, they played against the team that turned it over the fewest amount of times per game in the country. It's the same exact story today. The Wolfpack forced 14 Notre Dame turns as Radford gets an easy 2 inside. So Notre Dame's no longer #1 in the country. That distinction goes to the Hokies. How often in basketball history have you played the #1 team in fewest turnovers twice in a week? Daniels didn't get the bounce. Wolfpack have already forced 2 Hokie turnovers already. .15 to shoot. Radford trying to make a move on Bates, lost it. Somehow finds Horn. Now 8 for Nolly. Badgered by Helms. Shot clock winding down. Nolly buries it.
One of those instances, Evan, good D, better O. And this is one of the things we've seen from Landers Nolly earlier in this season. Not only a three-point shooter, but a guy that can handle the ball in the 6'8", can get separation.
Averaging 17 points per game. That's 4th best in the ACC. Inside to Bates. One power dribble and then 2 hard off the glass. Very few teams in the nation shoot more threes than Virginia Tech. Here's P.J. Horn, buries another.
When we talked with Mike Young earlier, I asked him if he was concerned about Manny Bates, and he said that we're going to try to exploit that matchup. That last time you saw a pick and pop, P.J. Horn being able to knock down that 3. A lot of times Bates, big guys don't want to go out and guard the 3.
Out of bounds. Last touch by Helms. 8-0 run for the Hokies.
And again, Evan, we talk about this Virginia Tech, and you see Landers Nolly being able to dance it and open up and get that 3. And the last time, pick and pop, and you see recognition by getting P.J. Horn. Then Bates late over there. Again, this has been a game of runs. NC State came out with a 10-0 run. Virginia Tech has followed with an 8-0 run.
Hey, Brian, you told me before we went on the air that you wanted to see the first 5-6 minutes, and you develop some conclusions over what you saw. What are you seeing so far?
Well, I think that for Virginia Tech, their ability to allow the ball to go from one side to the other, get the penetration, force step, kick out, and get the 3. For NC State, being able to get to the basket, offensive rebounds, and creating some offense from their defense.
Hunter Couture into the game for Mike Young. Tough shot rebounded by DJ Funderburk, who's the first sub for NC State. Johnson slithers. Kicks it. Beverly. And the rebound pinballs around. It's Nolly. A one-man fast break. And he'll get free throws. A hearty star to watch today is the diminutive but sharp-shooting Jalen Cone, coming off a remarkable second half on Tuesday night at the Carrier Dome.
Yeah, and he came up huge for Virginia Tech in that come-from-behind win at Syracuse. 19 points, 5 for 7 from behind the arc. And I want for the people there to watch, this guy gets amazing lift on his jump shot. For him to be at 5'11", he definitely gets a quick release, and he goes up high.
Well, it was 10-0, and now it's 10-10. Who scores next?
Well, I think that if you're Kevin Keach, you want to go back to what you were able to do earlier. Ball movement, try to exploit inside and inside out. You see great play by P.J. Horn.
And Couture got his hand in there cleanly in the cookie jar. Landers Nolly from downtown. 13 straight for Tech.
And this is one of the ways that Virginia Tech excels. They get the ball out, kick it ahead. Nolly is one of those guys, you got to get to him fast because he's got a quick release.
Down 10-0, the sellout crowd was quiet. Hasn't taken much to get him back into this game. Markel Johnson ends the 13-zip Hokie run.
And this is one of the things about Johnson is that he can get that separation. He'll lull you to sleep, fake the penetration. That last time coming back, being able to get the separation, knocking down that 3.
Each team has made 3 threes in the first 7.5 minutes. Here's Cone, who had 2 4-point plays on Tuesday. Landers Nolly is on fire right now.
Seems like he's feeling it. I thought they started early. We're getting it going right now. Last 3 buckets.
Funderburk answers at the other end.
Funderburk is one of those guys, too, that Kevin Keats talked about his energy, how it's meant so much to his ball club. And again, I think you give him a touch, allow him to be able to go to work down low and force Virginia Tech to have to come in double.
Funderburk, the 5th different NC State player to score so far. Here's Cone rising up for 3.
Seemed like he's building off of that momentum. You can tell from coming to that Syracuse game, walked off the court with a little bit more swag, picking up where he left off.
Say, he's 5'10", but he shoots it like he's rising up from a 6'6" range. Pat Andre from the corner, bumped by Nolly. First foul on Nolly, who's got 10 points already. Wildly different story in 2020 for NC State and Virginia Tech. Jalen Cone was recruited by Kevin Keats, but he came to Blacksburg making buckets for the Hokies.
ACC College Hoops is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Be bold, be confident, live fearless. Your local Ford dealer. And LS Tractor. Visit us at lstractorusa.com.
Back in Blacksburg, where the Hokies have an 18-15 lead after falling behind 10-0. And Brian Oliver, it seems like Jalen Cone has picked up right where he left off in Syracuse. This is a guy that graduated high school early from Walkertown, North Carolina. So, I mean, he chose to come to Blacksburg, was recruited by NC State. He said after the game on Tuesday that his teammates have just been telling him all the time, shoot the ball, let it go, let it go. It's the Frozen philosophy, which you have a young daughter, I imagine you understand. The let it go philosophy.
Well, one of the things, too, you've got a coach in Mike Young that encourages his guys. When we talked to him earlier, he said, I'm not going to discourage my guys from shooting. And I think that this is a team that most coaches, if you play really good defense, he's going to give you some freedom. And for Virginia Tech, you've seen that right now. Cone coming off of what was probably his best game of the season so far with a lot of confidence.
Great shooters, the cold doesn't bother them. They can keep shooting no matter what.
So here's what I'm going to tell you as a player. When you come off of a game where you finish off that game in a big win, you can't wait to get home. You can't wait to get into the game. And a guy coming off the bench, you want to see that first one go down. And they've got a sold-out house, and you know he's definitely feeding off of the crowd. Andre
makes 2 of 3 at the line after he was fouled by Nolly shooting the 3 before the break. Pat Andre is a guy that Kevin Keats would love to get going. He was 0 for 6 from 3 against Notre Dame, a school that he's got a lot of ties to. His dad, his siblings have gone there, and Andre just 2 for 20 over his last 4 games from the outside. Cone, they set him up again, and he comes up empty.
And what you're going to see from Virginia Tech, they're going to run a lot of off screens to try to get shooters an opportunity. Shooters, you see the penetration.
Helms staying with it, but it's Ogiaco who emerges, and his outlet pass. Wilkins didn't see it coming. Funderburk goes up high to catch it, and Ogiaco's called for the goaltend. That ball on its way down.
Nice lob up to Funderburk, and again, for NC State, you want to take advantage of their length. But having a high-energy guy like Funderburk in there, you see the lob goes up once, comes out with the goaltend. This is going to be a game of runs. And again, we talked about that because with Virginia Tech and what they do, NC State, you want to try to offset what they're going to do. Penetrate, you got to be able to contain the dribbler.
Rabisa Beatty only took 1 shot against Syracuse, but had 8 assists. Mike Young has just raved about what he has meant to his ball club this year. Clock winding down. Deep 3 at the buzzer is good. They're going to check it and see if Jalen Cone got it off.
And even if it doesn't go, I mean, how about that, though, Cone? He's gotten so confident. You see Kevin Keats is like, no, not at all.
This young kid, 16 second-half points against Cuse. Made multiple threes in 6 different games, and the officials have already ruled it good.
Well, you see the release. And how about for the confidence?
I think we done one right.
Roger Ayers, Jeb Hartness, and Bart Lennox. Roger Ayers, as busy of an official and as great of an official as there is in the country, and constantly saluted by Virginia Tech alum Ken Pomeroy, who's the leading statistical czar in the college basketball universe. That's the 2nd time Couture has snuck his hands in there defensively.
And you know, sometimes, Evans, they say that the players take on the identity of their coach. Mike Young has come in, and since he's hit here, he's encouraged his guys to defend with intensity. You see Couture coming up, getting on the floor. Nice play. And this Virginia Tech team, they have fed off the energy of this crowd off to a really good start after starting slow down 10-0.
Mike Young midway through his first season in Blacksburg. And Brian, I don't want to speak for you, but the thing that has most staggered me when watching this Virginia Tech team Their freshmen don't play like freshmen.
Well, it's more one of those baptism by fire. This is one of the teams, one of the second youngest in the country. And I think for the type of players that he has that defend the way they do, he gives them a lot of freedom. And then we talk about they're not a big team, but you talk about how tough these guys are, and he's always talking about the toughness of his players.
This is for Wilkins at one end and Johnson at the other. Here's Cone to the basket. And he draws the foul on Bates. Takes some panache for Jalen Cone to be roaming down there with those big bodies.
But here's what I'm going to tell you for a player. If you're coming off of a game where you're playing, you've got confidence. And right now, you can see Jalen Cone is oozing with confidence. You see the 6-5 points a game, but he's playing way ahead of that.
A quick word now from Works.
The Work Switch Driver. With 2 rotating chucks, you can switch between bits in a second and get projects done twice as fast.
Cone sinks a pair at the line. He's got 8 points already off the bench. Hokies by 4. Markel went up in the air without knowing where it was going, and he turns it over.
Basketball, no. You don't want to commit yourself in the air that last time. Johnson was well defended into the basket. And again, for Virginia Tech, they've been able to turn the tide of this game, because earlier it looked like there was going to be a runaway with NC State. They've been able to defend, get their shots, and again, they're a team that does an awful lot off the pick and roll.
Radford pestering that offensive glass again, but NC State coming the other way. Nice dribble move by Johnson. Kicks it. Daniels to the corner for Andre. Radford looking to create a break himself. 1-on-3. And swatted by Daniels.
How about the athleticism by Devin Daniels going up and blocking that shot? Went way up high.
Markel Johnson to the bucket.
This is one of those matchups I was looking forward to between Beatty and Johnson. Johnson's one of those guys that's got that dog in him. And he's going to uplift this NC State team, understanding that they're going to need him to be able to penetrate, score, and find his players for open shots.
Difference in height there. Beatty was picked up by Bates on the switch. Pass to the corner, deflected out of bounds, will stay with the Hokies. I don't want to gloss over. That was an amazing block by Devin Daniels in transition.
Well, you saw how high he went, and we've talked about Radford and how athletic he is. And you see right now going vertical. He went up and got that at the top of the jump. Daniels is a really athletic player.
He's got some bunnies, as they say. Shot clock's at 6. This is the guy they want with the ball. He'll kick it to Beatty. And when I got to Cassell Coliseum today, it was around 11:40 a.m. Wabisa Beatty was the only guy out on the floor getting shots up. He really wants to be great. Beverly comes up short at the other end. Mike Young told us, I am nobody without Wabisa Beatty. And there's Hunter Couture, originally headed to Wofford. Followed Mike Young to Blacksburg, and it's worked out well.
And going back to Beatty, you see he gets them into their early offense, realizes they've got 4 guys outside. Nice swing pass to get the ball to Couture.
And an answer from Helms. We had a little something to say to Nolly after that fell through.
Well, you know, you got 2 guys in Helms and Nolly, very competitive guys. And right now, this has been a game that's going up and down. A lot of toughness. You got both teams that defend really well in the half court. Tell that both of them are seeking that 3rd victory.
Ryan, it was 7:39 in the first half that NC State reached 24. Took them 40 minutes for that a year ago. And I'm done. I promise. That's it. To the basket. Hard foul by Bates. And the shot would not stay down.
Well, we got a lot of back and forth having both teams going in. And you see being able to rotate the ball to get over to Couture. You got Virginia State, and then NC State comes back with that answer. 26-24. Got a good one.
26-24. We've seen 50 points in less than 13 minutes, which is a fantastic sign. Virginia Tech moving the ball well. Our Toyota Tweet of the Week stresses the performance Virginia Tech had sharing the basketball. 20 assists on 21 buckets on the road at Syracuse against Jim Boeheim's zone on Tuesday night.
And already 8 field goals off of 6 assists. And again, we talked with Mike Young. One of the things that he's prized himself with his team is being able to distribute that basketball. We talked about Beatty and what he means to this team. He's a guy that gets them going. He may not look for a shot, but he does a lot of the intangibles, making sure that he gets the right players at the right point. And they've done a good job of being able to get that going.
Hokies have made 6 threes so far and only 2 twos, and that's not a surprise.
And for 3, we talked about the fact that they shoot the 3 ball real well. They've come out and they've been able to get set up shots, run a lot of pin downs, and it always helps when you got a guy like Jalen Cone that can throw it from long distance. But right now, this is one of the things that they've done a good job of, knocking down the threes and getting those open shots.
You remember they were down 10-0. They started 0 for 3 from deep, so they're 6 of their last 9.
But here's one of the things you saw is that they didn't panic. Mike Young being a guy, he called the timeout, got his guys going. And again, this is one of the things we talked about is that they're going to defend. They're going to get their opportunities. They're going to spread the ball out. They distribute, and they've been able to recapture this game and jump ahead right now.
The lefty Radford sinks a pair. The foul was on Devin Daniels before the break. He's got 1. No one in the game right now with more than 1 foul. That's a good sign.
Interesting to see with no Markell Johnson on the floor. How does NC State get it? Because a lot of times he's setting everyone up to get their offense.
Helms gets a great look. Oh, tremendous play by Horn to save it, but it's still loose, and Virginia Tech emerges with the ball.
And those are the 50-50 balls that you've got to win when it comes down to ACC play. Great play by a Horn being able to come up with that basketball.
Radford to Nolly, and Beverly picks up his 2nd foul.
And one of the things that you see the save, you see the contest, and then you see getting on the floor. Coaches love to see guys fight. You see not 1, 2, 3, 4 guys on the floor. You tell me that this is not ACC, my basketball at its best. And the point I wanted to make going back to Nolly is that he's so difficult to guard because he's a guy that can go left and right, not just a 3-point shooter. And you always are in motion, and it makes it really hard to guard the perimeter guys on Virginia Tech's team.
Shot clock's down to 5 here. Beatty realizes it. And dishes to Radford, who cut at the perfect time.
Again, talking about always in motion. Beatty was able to break down the defense. You saw Radford not giving on a play. He's a guy that's a slasher hanging around the rim. Nice dump off for the finish.
Tyrese Radford, in his first 4 ACC games coming into today, was 11 of 13 from the floor. Daniels, teardrop, 2.
Devin Daniels, again, we talked about how athletic he is. Very strong at 6'7", being able to put the ball on the floor and finish around the rim. If you're North Carolina State, you got to attack the basket. You don't want to have to get into that lane and force the help, but you got to take advantage of opportunities when you get them.
Nolly running the baseline. Back outside for Beatty. And here's Couture taking Helms. The foul will be on Helms. And Hunter Couture, the freshman from Orlando, will head to the line. He's a guy that struggled in ACC games. They want to get him going.
Yeah, but here's one of the things about Couture. Anytime you can shoot the ball, it gives you an opportunity to be able to get to the basket because you've got to honor that 3-point shot. That last time being able to ball fake, penetrate, and he's strong around the basket, being able to absorb the contact.
Couture had only scored 7 points in the 4 ACC games, and you know it feels strange to say that because we're not talking about the last 4 games. With the November ACC games and December games, those two seem like such in the distance right now.
When you look at these freshmen for Virginia Tech, again, you look at the type of player that a Mike Young will recruit. A lot of these guys play, they're strong. They play with a chip on their shoulder, super aggressive. You talked earlier about them not playing like freshmen.
Andre's 3 rims out. Nolly with the rebound. 10 points, 3 rebounds so far for Landers Nolly. Tyrese Radford having a heck of a half, but you did the same for Daniels, especially at the defensive end.
Well, if you're going to play for Kevin Keith, you're going to play defense. So this is how they make their living, is that they've got long, strong, athletic wing players that will get up in you and try to disrupt you. Devin Daniels is one of those guys.
I thought it was cool how Kevin Keats praised Daniels' performance against Notre Dame. He went 1 for 6, only had 2 points, but his defensive effort against all the Irish guards was big. And how about Manny Bates coming up with a steal near midcourt? Pass to the other post, Thunderberg. And it's a blocking foul on P.J. Horn.
But this play was set up by Manny Bates and that long wingspan. And then you see Thunderberg. I'm going to go ahead and side on the side with the officials. I thought that Horn was not set. You see right now, I know the faithful here with Cassell Coliseum. I thought he was moving.
He was fading backwards before there was any contact. P.J. Thunderberg playing his 50th game as a member of the Wolfpack today. Began the day with 475 points.
Evan, one of the things when we talked with Kevin Keats was with no C.J. Bryce, where we see Bates and Thunderberg on the court together. Interested to see how this plays out, because on one end for North Carolina State, you've got 2 bigs that can create some havoc. But then for Virginia Tech, how do they exploit having these 2 bigs out there as well as they penetrate and knock down the 3?
In your mind, who instinctively has the advantage?
I'm going to err on the side of Virginia Tech because you got a guy in Radford that can get by Thunderberg, and then you're going to have
goodness.
Until that block came up.
Reconsider Bates with the emphatic block. We'll see if the Pack can pay it off. Johnson unable to convert. Ahead to Cone. Picked up by the much bigger Thunderberg. Jalen gets a screen. Here's Nolly. Takes it. And he'll get to the line.
So again, I talked about the advantage of having 2 bigs on here. And how about Manny Bates coming up there? And look at that wingspan and that reach. And then one of the things, again, Kevin Keats talked about, super excited about how he's been able to come in and anchor their defense.
Jalen Cone didn't see anybody like that playing for Walkertown High School.
Yeah, but you go back to Bates and what he's been able to do. This is a guy that missed his senior season in high school and then sat out last year. Interestingly, and Kevin Keats talked about trying to get him back in, and he told him, hey, your first day of practice, I don't want you blocking shots. He comes out and blocks the first 8 shots in practice.
At that point, Kevin Keats was like, I'll just let him go. Let him be him. Wolfpack trailing by 5, closing in on 4 minutes to play in the half. Entertaining first 16 minutes for sure. Johnson step back. Outlet pass was deflected by Johnson, and that ball lands in the first row. And Roger Ayers insists it's Hokies ball. 33-28. Far cry from 47-24. Now time for Protecting the Paint, brought to you by CPI Security. Manny Bates is as good of a paint protector as we've got in the ACC. This is his 50th block of the season. If he can double that and get to 100, that would be an NC State season record.
Well, I was a scorer, not a defensive shot blocker, but I know that to block shots, you got to have great timing. And I think you see the 2 blocks. I love the fact that he's a guy that can play on the perimeter, also make sure that he's always vertical and stays out of foul trouble.
Kevin Keats said when he recruited him, he knew he was an elite shot blocker and had to wait a long time. Manny Bates went nearly 1,000 days between his final game as a high school junior and now as a redshirt freshman, but the wait has been worth it. Nolly traveled before the shot. No basket.
And if you're DJ Thunderberg, you breathe a sigh of relief because, again, Landers Nolly doesn't need a lot of time. You see a little bit of a pump you up, a little space right there between them. Again, interesting to see how this matchup with having both Bates and Thunderberg on the floor, if it benefits NC State on their offensive end.
$11 to shoot, and the foul called on Naheem Aline. It's only the 4th team foul on Virginia Tech. Shot clock resets to 20.
And Devin Daniels, as a right-handed player, is a person that prefers to drive lefty. And if you're Virginia Tech, you want to shade him back to that right hand because he's a guy that likes to get, he's a 2-foot jumper and likes to gather himself when he gets to the bucket.
Over the top of the defense, Thunderberg will try. Hokies ball. Pack have been wearing out that front rim from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and if you're Mike Young with this lineup that NC State has on the floor, you're going to go ahead and give that ball, and you see the play coming up. Well, looks like that may have come off of P.J. Horn's leg there, partner. But glad I'm sitting over here next to you.
Those types of things, we hope, even out over the course of 40 minutes and 30 ball games in a season. Under 3 to play in the half. Nolly tries from straight away.
And I think now they feel like that was a little bit of get back. And if you're DJ Thunderberg, if you're going to guard him out there, you've got to force him to be a penetrator because he needs just a little bit of daylight to get that shot up.
14 for Nolly. Lob feed was behind Bates. 4th turnover for NC State. Nolly to the basket, draws the foul. And there's the instance where the speed and quickness, despite the lack of size, benefits Virginia Tech.
So here's what you have. If you've got a guy in DJ Thunderberg is not used to playing a guy that's 6'8", that can put the ball on the floor, knock down that 3. You saw the turnover. He shot a 3 that was not good. Comes down and pulls one in your face. You're going to pull up, and now what Nolly's going to do is going to put you on skates, get by you, and that's what makes it so hard to guard a guy like Nolly because he can put the ball on the floor and knock down that 3.
There's no player in the ACC who is responsible for more of his team's possessions in a game than Landers Nolly. 23rd in the nation. A little more than 32% of Virginia Tech's possessions go through Nolly.
And you see as Nolly goes up with Virginia Tech up 10, this is where they have struggled in the past. You've got to give them a blow. Opportunity for NC State to be able to take advantage, and now you see from Virginia Tech where they're going to get their offense.
Largest lead for the Hokies, and Johnson recovers. He can't dribble, though, needs help. Thunderberg provides it. Shot clock at 3. Martell barely grazed the iron, which allows Thunderberg to get a rebound, but then he was swatted away inside by Ogiaco. Aline comes up heavy. Mike Young imploring his team to defend from the Virginia Tech bench. He came to Cassell Coliseum as a fan when he was a kid. There's Thunderberg flashing one in Ogiaco's grill.
And that's one of the things that Thunderberg can do. He can face up. He's a guy with his length that he's got a nice little touch around the rim. Being able to face up, take his time, and knock down that little short mid-range jumper.
Beatty on the bench, Cone running the show. Hokies taking some time off the clock here. And again, Cone guarded by the much bigger Thunderberg. Off balance. And the rebound for Andre.
Good defensive possession by NC State. Missed opportunity.
In transition, Beverly was way off. Loose ball. This is a rugby scrum. The whistle blows. Wolfpack possession.
I thought NC State missed an opportunity. They had Thunderberg by himself under the basket.
Yeah, I saw that too. But Beverly open for 3 is a pretty good option.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think that you still take advantage of the opportunity right now. 50 seconds left to go. Kevin Keese wants to make sure he gets a good offensive possession going into the half.
Well, the score at the half when these two teams met last year was 20-14, and the Wolfpack was better in the first half offensively than they were in the second half. It was a historic game. Brian, you and I were there for it. February 2nd last year, the day before the Patriots beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. And it was just a perplexing day. You know, Virginia Tech played good defense, but that wasn't why the Wolfpack shot 16.7%.
And I think I remember us talking about that game going into the game, both of us really excited, thinking we're going to see a ton of points on the board. And it's definitely one of those things that we do not want to be YouTubeable for people being able to go up and bring up and realizing that you and I had a hand in that game.
SB Nation called it the worst college basketball game in history, created a 10-minute feature.
And I'm hoping that was because of the score, not the commentary.
He said that there won't be a sequel in terms of the worst college basketball game. This could be one of the best games of the year. First foul on Beatty. 48.4 remaining in the half. And this is an important 48 seconds here for NC State. The difference of being down 5 or 10 or something in those whereabouts. Here's Andre. They're within 5.
Nice cross-court pass over to Andre. And again, for Markell Johnson, this is what he does for this team. Understands point in possession. So that last time being able to lull the defense to sleep. Nice shot by Andre.
5-second differential. Wolfpack should see it again, barring an offensive rebound. Nolly's got the size on Beverly. And I think that's going to be number 3 on Braxton Beverly. Kevin Keats is one of the coaches that lets his guys play with 2 fouls. He gets burnt right there.
Well, how about Mike Young realizing that it's important to be able to get Nolly back in. You see, again, him going to the line. Both coaches playing a little bit of chess. Take advantage of the time and possession.
Just like Wabisa Vidi, Landers Nolly, as you mentioned, enter the transfer portal during the coaching transition, but Mike Young recruited him to stay here, and what a boon he has been for this program. He had a 56-point game in high school. He's having another big offensive day.
But how about the job that Mike Young has done? Because again, coming into this season, if you'd ask anyone to see, hey, at this point in the season, would they be 11-4 with the schedule that they've had and be 2-2 in the conference? There's no one would have taken that bet.
2 ACC road wins already for Mike Young. Jalen Cone gives the foul. Hokies have a couple more to give. One more to give, in fact.
I mean, we talk about the 2-2 in the ACC. We haven't had a chance to discuss that huge win in the non-conference against a good Michigan State team.
Before Johnson could detonate, Cone picks up his 2nd foul. That's the 6th team foul. No more to give. And Beatty's coming back in. Cone with the 2 quick fouls, all out 5 seconds. Steps out.
Important possession for NC State. Gonna get something going before to raise this lead.
2 seconds. Markell Johnson takes it. No good. Mike Young's Hokies will head to the locker room up by 7.
Impressive start at the beginning by NC State. I thought Virginia Tech was able to come back in, use their offense to be able to knock down threes. We got a good one going on.
And we wanted points. You promised points. Last year, your promise wasn't fulfilled. We had 71 total last year, 73 in the first half here today. Hokies in front by 7 in Blacksburg. Back inside a sold-out Cassell Coliseum. It's impressive that the Hokie fans fill this place up even with the students out of town for another week, but there's a great crowd, and after falling behind 10-0 in the opening couple of minutes, Virginia Tech rallies back. They lead by 7.5. After the next break, we'll take a look around the ACC on a busy January Saturday. It's anyone's guess how this league is going to filter out over the next couple of months. Hokies by 7 at the break. Hokie cheerleaders looking like they're ready for the next rendition of the movie Bring It On, that trilogy. They're ready for it. Spirit Fingers, good to go. 40-33 at the half. Evan Leffler with Brian Oliver, always spirited courtside. And you look at this conference right now, both these teams we got are 2-2. They both were nearly 1-3 earlier this week at Syracuse and against Notre Dame, but they found a way, and that's what this league is going to be, just finding a way.
Yeah, we talked about the parity in this league right now, because normally you have a clear-cut favorite. Again, earlier there were talks about Louisville. Louisville has been beat. You got Florida State in there. there. And then how about a team like in North Carolina? High expectations for them. No Cole Anthony. Them losing at home against Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh.
Plenty of history in the second half of our doubleheader with North Carolina and Clemson. We got Roy Williams going to try to pass Dean Smith in the wins column. You also got Clemson's ignominious stretch of 59 straight losses in Chapel Hill. Louisville, 12-point lead on the road. The other weird thing that's going on in the ACC right now is road teams have been unbelievably successful. Entering today in ACC play, road teams are 18 and 13. How do you explain that?
Well, I think because, again, you talk about the parity. One of the things we didn't talk about, how about Boston College up there at 3-1? Most recently beating Virginia at home. I know Virginia is not a team that's scoring an awful lot, but you've got a lot of teams that any given Saturday could win, and I think it's been a big toss-up. You got maybe 2 or 3 teams being with Louisville, Florida State, and then Duke. But then after that, it's going to be a logjam at teams trying to get these wins. These road wins are very, very important, especially early January.
Talking off the record with a lot of coaches, you ask, who do you think is the worst team in the league? And it's a really tough question because right now I don't think there is a worst team. The answer, I think, is going to be whoever doesn't stay healthy. And right now it's probably North Carolina.
And North Carolina has shown, well, again, we talked about most recently losing at home against Georgia Tech and then at Pittsburgh, against Pittsburgh. But I think, like you said, you got to stay healthy. You got to make sure that you're playing your best basketball. I just shows that there was a flux of talent that left, and then you're seeing a little bit more parity in this year. Maybe when we get to mid-February, it'll start to pan itself out.
Virginia Tech has an opportunity to rise over these next few years. You think about all the freshmen they have, including Landers Nolly, who in the first half today, the only guy in double figures. He's got 18 of Virginia Tech's 40. Hokies by 7.
ACC College Hoops is brought to you by the Works Switch Driver 2-in-1 Drill and Driver, Myrtle Beach Golf Trail, and Bojangles Sausage Biscuits. It's bow time.
An unseasonably warm January day for Blacksburg, Virginia. Saw some snow on the ground in the parking lot of the hotel, but it is in the low 60s here in Blacksburg and energized Cassell Coliseum with the former Georgia Tech star Brian Oliver, Evan Leffler, and I think NC State certainly misses their leading scorer and rebounder, C.J. Bryce, especially with Braxton Beverly picking up his 3rd foul. But Virginia Tech is attacking the basket, getting to the line, and they're 13 for 14 from the stripe, so they're doing damage there too.
Well, and again, I think that one of the ways they were able to get back into the game, they spread you out. And penetrate, kick, they've done a good job on the other end of being able to limit in North Carolina State. But again, Landers Nolly, he was the guy I think that he opened up this game because he came out and with his skill set, he's a hard match. And then they've been able to get some points in transition. I think that Beatty has done a good job. But going back to Landers Nolly, his ability to be able to get the separation. You see how high his release is. He's a guy that can put the ball on the floor, puts a ton of pressure on the defense. His ability to come out and then with that distance, being able to take a big and knock down those shots. Already up to 18 points. I think that really separated and got them going. 18
points in 16 minutes for Nolly. This is our game summary presented by Red Lobster. 7 threes in that first half for Virginia Tech. They average a little more than 10 threes a game, 13th in the country, 2nd among major conference teams. Only Alabama among major conference teams has made more threes per game than Virginia Tech. A few more shots getting up. Landers Nolly the second, ready to go. Second half on the other side of the break. Moments away from the start of the second half. Virginia Tech, after falling behind 10-0 in the opening minute, responded by scoring the next 13 and leads by 7 at the half. Coming up for most of you at 4:30 Eastern Time, Tom Wormy and Brian's college coach Bobby Cremins will be at the Dean Dome to see if Roy Williams can get the Tar Heels off the schneid. And speaking of schneids, the Tigers have not won in Chapel Hill ever. They're 0-59. It's the longest losing streak or winning streak, depending how you look at it. Roy Williams trying to pass Dean Smith for win number 880. Either way, it's going to be history today, Brian.
Yeah, you know what? Good point, because either Clemson's going to do it or Roy Williams is going to break that streak. I think now is as good a time as ever for Clemson. Roy Williams has definitely got to find a way to get the Carolina bunch back on track.
That is a mind-boggling streak as you take a look at the leading scorers. Funderburk, 8 points off the bench. That Clemson-UNC streak began 94 years ago, January of 1926. First meeting was won by UNC 48-24. In those 59 games, Brian, 7 of them have been decided by less than 5 or in overtime, but none since 2008. So it's been a while. The Tigers have had a really great chance at the end.
You are an amazing guy when it comes to information.
Try to learn the details. Tom Wormy will certainly have much more in-depth info at 4:30. But now we got a second half and a pretty compelling one here at Cassell Coliseum. A sold-out venue today for Virginia Tech and NC State. Chapter 58. Deep three, Nolly. Grazed the iron, rebound for Daniels.
Good defensive possession for NC State. I think for NC State, you got to make sure that Landers Nolly doesn't get a chance to get that daylight to shoot that shot.
Beverly for 2.
Good sign for Kevin Keats, too. Run your offense, get a nice little shot for Braxton Beverly being able to come up. And I think for NC State, you have to make the challenges. You have to make someone else from Virginia Tech beat you.
Beverly made an early 3 in the first half and then didn't score again, so he's just got 5 points. Aline needs help. Nolly with 5. Fouled by Daniels. Number 2 on Devin Daniels.
Again, for Braxton Beverly, you see him come off, and most of the times you get a guy that only a three-point shooter, but being able to get that ball fake to sell it, to get that mid-range jumper. Most three-point shooters, if you force them off the line, they can't do both. Good shot by Braxton Beverly.
Aline fouled, shooting the 3 as the ball wedges between the rim and the board.
And you got to be frustrated if you're Kevin Keats, because not only did you foul a three-point shooter, but if you're Braxton Beverly, that's his 4th foul. You see, that's a no-no, especially coming off there. You don't want to force a guy in a lean who's not a great three-point shooter to foul and give him 3 shots.
Not what you would expect from a guy like Beverly, who's a junior, who's played a ton of basketball. Today's his 82nd game for Kevin Keats. Here comes Pat Andre off the bench. As we watch Aline at the line. Say that 5 times fast.
It.
That wasn't what I was referring to, but I appreciate your roundabout way of surpassing it. Aline knocks it down. Two of 3 for Naheem. At the other end, Helms doesn't get the roll, and Nolly rips the rebound away from Andre. Horn takes it. Kind of a weird in-between shot right there for Horn. Almost dropped for him, though. Johnson wraps the pass inside. Nice feed, and Bates finishes.
How about the pass from Markell Johnson down to Manny Bates? And again, I think that that's one of the things that North Carolina State, you don't have to force feed the ball down to Bates, but he's a guy that can finish the ball if you can get him a nice little post up here and there.
They don't call a lot of plays for Manny Bates, but he still gets 6 points a game. Been in double figures a couple of times. Hokies cool from outside to start the second half. Looking high for Bates again. Unable to make the clean catch, but he maintains possession. And now Daniels rims it out.
You Devin Daniels, that's a play right now. You have to have a little bit more discipline offensively. Maybe a shot that you feel like he can make, but I don't like to see them run their offense.
Off the front iron for Aline. Ahead, Andre, that's his shot. Rebound, Radford. Love watching Tyrese Radford. He just always looks to attack. Aline fakes it, takes it. And a rebound popped right over. Two Hokies, Beatty and Radford, who were right there.
And it seemed like Aline is going to give himself a chance today.
And he's come out firing in the second half. Ahead to Beatty, leaves it for Nolly for three.
You see the crowd anticipating one of those shots to go, but if you're NC State, definitely an opportunity that you've got to be able to score on the other end.
Ryan, both teams right now are 1 for their last 11.
You see Mike Young basically putting his hands, telling his guys, okay, slow down, run some offense.
Beatty penetrates. Nolly to the basket. He can't finish. Radford beats the buzzer.
And how many times have we talked about Tyrese Radford and what he means to this ball club? And again, a guy that's always hanging around the rim, coming up with that rebound and the finish. Cut the snide.
Hokies back up by 7. Andre came in for Beverly, who's on the bench with 4 fouls. Shovel pass to Bates, another assist for Markel Johnson. That's his 7th of the game, and Bates has 6 points.
And again, Bates being the recipient of the penetration by Johnson. Johnson able to break down Beatty, get down into the deep of the defense. Nice finish by Manny Bates, just kind of hanging around, being the recipient of that penetration.
Markel Johnson with Bisa Beatty, both among the assist leaders in the ACC. But that pass from Wabisa went astray. Catch your breath, everybody. Timeout on the floor in a 5-point game in Blacksburg. Kevin Keats in the Wolfpack trailed by 7 at the half, back within 5. Kevin Keats trying to do something he hasn't done before as the coach of the Wolfpack, and that's win a game in the state he grew up in. Virginia Tech is one of 3 ACC schools that the Wolfpack have never beaten. You look at the recent scoring, 5 different players averaging double figures for the season for Kevin Keats.
And that's one of the reasons why I like this NC State team, because they're a team that's got a veteran bunch, and you see how the point is distributed amongst these seniors. Very important for them. And again, once they get a C.J. Bryce back, this is the guy that is your leading scorer that gives another different claw to this team. But to go back to your point, is that NC State has been that team that, again, has had some good wins. They're a team that also, they have to be healthy and for them to be able to get the best out of this schedule that they have.
Markel Johnson, Braxton Beverly, Pat Andre, DJ Funderburk, and Jericho Helms. Beverly back in with 4 fouls, and Funderburk set and 1 before the basket. 2 important
things coming out of the timeout. You see Braxton Beverly back on the floor, and I think Kevin Keats realizes that he has to have him in. And then you see, again, going with a screen, a pick-to-picker, high-low between Andre and then getting the ball into Funderburk. I think that this is something that they may try to take advantage of. You see Funderburk missing the front end of that first 2-shot foul.
16 points, 9 rebounds in his last game. 1 of 2 for DJ.
Checking in for the Wolfpack,
Devin Daniels back in, replacing Beverly.
Interesting to see on this offensive end, that last option. They did a lot, did that screen to screener. Kevin Keats said normally he's not going to extend his pressure. I think he's trying to find some ways to get some easier baskets. And a lot of times, if you can turn over the team, that allows you to get out in transition.
Jalen Cohn back out there for the Hokies. Cohn certainly gave him a spark in the first half, just like he did on Tuesday up in central New York. Shot clock now down to 5. Nolly, pass to the corner, deflected by Daniels with 2 on the shot clock.
I like that matchup with Devin Daniels on Nolly a lot better because, you know, with his size and strength, he's shorter, but he's athletic enough to stay with Nolly and force him off. Interesting to see if they can get a shot with 2 seconds left to go.
Radford throws cross court. Horn gets it off. Caught the iron, but the rebound for Markel Johnson. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists for Markel. And he tries to add to his line, but comes up empty.
Nolly, quick first step to the bucket. Missed it, gets it back. Missed it again. Thunderberg clears it away. Hokies back in transition, and Couture, for the third time, gets a clean slap of the ball on a dribbler.
Yeah, I think Markel Johnson took his eyes off. He was trying to get Andre open for a three. This game has turned to be a little chippy on both ends. Both teams being a little bit more aggressive on both ends of the floor. Interesting to see with this possession, NC State, if they opt to go inside.
Helms, hook, no. I think NC State realizes the importance of this game. They've got a brutal schedule coming up. The second half of the ACC season. Tyrese Radford, strong take. He's the second guy in the game in double figures. And quickly at the other end, Pat Andre. Bumped by Nolly, and a chance for a three-point play.
Good recognition by NC State, not putting their head down after the score from Virginia Tech, being able to get down, head up, pass over to Pat Andre. And again, important for NC State to be able to take advantage again to the basket. You see the pass over from Daniel to Andre. And there's Nolly a little late.
A rare two-point field goal for Pat Andre. He doesn't get a lot of those.
I look at Pat Andre, he gives me that look of a Kevin Love kind of ish, a guy that can shoot the three, prefers to shoot it, but that last time, lateral movement a little bit like Kevin Love there too.
Couture draws the foul on Andre. It's his first. Beverly's got 4. The rest of the Wolfpack combined only have 7 other fouls, no one with more than 2. 13.5 minutes to play in a three-point game. Daniels went for the steal, didn't get it. Couture is open. And Thunderberg is piling up the rebounds.
Again, with the lineup from Virginia Tech, interested to see where they get their points. You see penetration by Johnson.
Second foul on P.J. Horn.
I think with the length of NC State, this is when you try to put Virginia Tech players in a pick and roll, try to get to the basket, a little isolation.
Johnson over Cone. Rebound Couture.
I didn't like that shot by Johnson. I think for what he's able to do as far as getting to the basket, go to a pick and roll, try to penetrate, force the help, and build the defense out with just a pull-up three.
I mean, in your mind, is that a lack of focus or a matter of fatigue? Or what goes into that decision?
Well, no, but I think for Markel Johnson, he's a guy that can make that shot. And, you know, coming off of a 27-point ball, you see the blow by Cone and finished by, or not finished by Wilkins. Blown layup.
We've seen a bunch of them here in the second half after Cone just bolted past Johnson. Couture cleans up the glass again.
Good defense by Couture.
Two teams have really cooled off here in the second half. Couture, can he heat up? Andre the rebound. Inside Thunderberg.
And that pass was set up by again, the pick and roll. You saw the flash by Thunderberg. No look pass by Johnson.
Brian, the Hokies are 2 for 16 from the field since halftime. 0 for 5 from beyond the arc.
And some of that, Evan, is NC State and the fact that they are a team that can hold you on the perimeter. You see yet another penetration and finish by Radford. Again, wondering where they're going to get their offense. Tyrese Radford has done it on both ends of the floor.
He has been the offense here in the second half for Virginia Tech. A dozen in the game for Radford. He scored 6 of the 8 in the second half. Johnson's three clangs off. Nice tip by Helms. Extra pass for Andre. And the rebound battle will be won by NC State. Tipped out. Controlled by Daniels from the other corner. Helms has the same result as Andre.
I thought that was a bailout shot by Helms. Again, that last time, great hustle by North Carolina State. Still would like to see them try to take advantage and maybe exploit getting the ball inside to Thunderberg and let him use his length down low.
NC State, a good three-point shooting team, but not a great three-point shooting team. Virginia Tech has been great, but not in the second half so far.
And here's the thing for Mike Young. How long do you keep Landers Nolly on the floor for a team that's been struggling to score as of late?
There's Andre putting the ball on the floor, draws the foul on Wilkins.
And you see again penetration and the dime over to the big fella. No large feed the big man. Let him eat.
(48-45) Virginia Tech leading NC State in an entertaining ACC matinee from Cassell Coliseum. Let's take a look at our big moments.
And today has been Tyrese Radford that has come up and has been making a living for around the rim, being able to get to the basket, absorbing contact. He's been that guy, Evan, and I thought that Virginia Tech, they needed that second shot in the arms for scoring. He's come up big, especially in the second half. He's
been the only guy who has made a field goal so far for Virginia Tech in the second half. He's 3 for 3. The rest of the Hokies are 0 for 15 since the break.
Well, this is one of the things that we talked about is that for Virginia Tech, when you have Landers Nolly out of the ball game for foul trouble or for arrest, they've struggled. You see second half 3 for 3, and it's not so much been his scoring. I like the fact that he's been able to accept the challenge to make the defensive plays as well, crashing the basketball.
The assists are still there, but 9 of 15 on Wednesday, 2 of 10 from the floor so far today, and you haven't always liked his shot selection.
Well, there's so much not that, but I thought the Virginia Tech guards, especially with Bisa Beatty, has done a good job of making his shot selection difficult.
Roger Ayers said it hit Virginia Tech's Naheem Aline, who is sitting on the ground. And now Ayers is going to ask, did the ball hit the floor before it hit Aline?
You see the play right now.
They're going to keep it the same way, according to the crowd. And this is as close as it gets.
But back to North Carolina State, they're getting their looks close to the rim. It just comes down to being able to finish. Again, trying to take advantage of the height advantage. They have not been able to do that.
Markel Johnson back to work. Fakes it, takes it. No good. Funderburk, stick back. This is weird. Reminiscent of last February, but up ahead. No! High percentage.
How about the read by Bisa Beatty being able to get Landers Nolly? Virginia Tech being able to get a good finish around the rim.
Acrobatic from Funderburk, and the tip goes home.
And it's been his energy as of late. DJ Funderburk doing a good job of being able to crash the ball and using his length to be able to come up with that finish, to put back.
9.5 to play. Funderburk leading the Wolfpack in scoring so far today. He's got 13. Clock winding down again on Nolly. Step back over Andre. Boom!
That's too good. That's too good because at that time, if you're Andre, you did a pretty good job of being able to stay in front of him. But again, with a guy like Nolly getting that separation.
Funderburk versus Nolly. This is a back-and-forth duel right now.
But that pick and roll between Johnson and Funderburk has been able to produce a lot of opportunity because you've got to honor Johnson coming off, doing a good job of being able to put the ball right at the rim where Funderburk can go get it.
52-49. And before the shot, Beatty draws the foul on the floor. Helms picks up his second. Just the 4th team foul of the half on the Wolfpack. And Daniels coming back in off NC State's bench.
With this game going back and forth, for Mike Young, I'm going to ride my horse. I'm going to get the ball on Landers Nolly. Today, there's no one on North Carolina State that can stop him one-on-one. Find a way to go get the ball to him and then force them to double.
They forced it to Nolly. First time was tipped away. Gets it back and splashed it in.
And again, because he's 6'8", because he can put the ball on the floor, he's very difficult. If you put a big on him, he's going to go by him.
Landers Nolly looking like a ACC superstar here today. He's got 25 points. Beatty comes up with a steal. Nolly. Bullet pass cross court to Cone. The roof might have popped off this place if that one went in.
Yeah, and if I'm NC State, I go back to the pick and roll. They've been able to get a lot of good looks out of that pick and roll between Johnson and Funderburk.
Daniels penetrates and draws the foul. Officially, Nolly with 24 at the moment.
Landers Nolly is a guy, like I said, that can give you points in bunches. Give him the ball, get out of the way, let him work out.
7:47 to go, and you may notice the Hokies picked up a point during the break. I knew Landers Nolly the second had 25 and not 24. This was initially ruled a 2, but as you can clearly see, his feet behind the line, so that was changed from a 2 to a 3. So Nolly does have 25, and the Hokies have a 6-point lead.
And I'm going to tell you that this is a guy that definitely understands where he is on the floor. And as a natural scorer, you realize on the fadeaway creating that distance, you're going to get behind the line. And again, you see the points for the season, 17, but today 25. And I love the fact that he's efficient. And again, if you haven't seen Landers Nolly play, not a guy that just shoots threes. He's a guy that's got the full package. You can put the ball on the floor.
Daniels at the line, comes up empty. He'll shoot the second after a quick word from Bojangles.
Say good morning and mean it with 2 hefty, zesty Bojangles sausage biscuits. It's Bo time.
1 of 2 for Devin Daniels. Full court pressure coming from NC State.
You see NC State trying to throw Virginia Tech off. And I think what Virginia Tech has done a lot, we've talked a lot about Nolly and his ability to be able to score. But I think that Wabisa Beatty has done a good job. And you may not see it in the stats as far as points. Running the ball club, being able to penetrate and get everyone set in their open looks.
Cone comes up empty. He's 2 for 6 today. 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. Daniels to the basket.
And I talked earlier about Devin Daniels as a right-handed player, a guy that prefers to get to his left. That last time being able to get to the basket, Wolfpack cutting into his lead.
It's been a while since NC State led. They jumped out 10-0. Virginia Tech has been in front most of the rest of the way after their 13-zip response. Radford wraps around Andre and scores.
How many times we talked about Tyrese Radford and his ability to get around the rim? That last time he caught Pat Andre sleeping. Good dump off by Beatty.
That conversation will continue as he keeps doing it.
And I think that, again, this pick and roll is something that North Carolina State has to continue to do, because even if you get Markel Johnson who doesn't score, and going back to the find by Beatty, you see right there, being able to finish, again, playing much bigger than his height.
Checking in for Virginia Tech, number 0.
Beatty with 4 assists today. Markel Johnson's got 9. A really good basketball game. 2 teams each have 6 turnovers. Johnson, way off. Not his day shooting the ball. The other end, Beatty finds Radford. An explosive performance from the redshirt freshman. A career high, 16 points. And Kevin Keats has seen enough.
And you see the finish going defense to offense, being able to finish. We've talked about Tyrese Radford. He's been the guy finishing at the rim.
Tremendous energy here in the 5-4-0. Virginia Tech up 59-52 with 6:16 to play. And we talked at the top of the show, Brian, about the guard matchup, Markel versus Landers. Clear advantage for Tech.
Well, and clearly with Landers not only being able to have 25 points, I think that his ability to be able to put the defense on skates has been able to contribute to him knocking down shots. But on the other end, I think that Markel Johnson, some of it has been poor shot selection, but you got to give the Virginia Tech guards, most notably with Bisa Beatty, some credit on that, because I think he's done a lot to contribute to his poor shooting day.
He's been defensively excellent at the point of attack, and the Hokies have helped out well. There's an example. Radford stepped out on the dribbler and then squats Daniel's shot into the seats.
And we talked a lot about Nolly and how he's had his imprint on this game, but how about the big finish by Radford? Again, doing it on both ends of the floor. Talked about how he plays so much bigger than his height.
Johnson looking for Bates. He was fouled on the catch by Horn. It's the third on Horn. He's the first Hokie with more than 2.
And here, Evan, I don't want to be a broken record, but I think that whenever that Johnson has gone into that pick and roll with a big, be it Bates or be it Thunderbird, they've been able to get good things by going to the rim. I think, obviously, you still have to stop Virginia Tech on one end, but that mismatch and being able to get the advantage inside, I think that's something that they want to look at this last 6 minutes of the game.
Good substitution here. Thunderbird comes in for rebounding purposes. This is a 1-and-1 for Bates.
Advantage from Virginia Tech again. Exploit getting the ball to Nolly and see who's guarding him on this possession.
Bisa Beatty has not scored in the game, but again, he's been very impactful. Both ends of the floor. Radford timed his cut beautifully.
And it seems like it's so easy to guard Radford because he's a non-shooter. But this is the guy that stays very active, being able to follow the penetration that last time, being able to get to the basket.
Thunderbird unable to answer. Rebound Couture. Beatty with purpose. Couture wide open. That would have felt like a dagger.
Missed opportunity by Couture. I thought that Beatty also missed Radford ahead of him on the break.
NC State gives it right back. Radford is 6 for 6 from the floor in the second half.
And you see Radford getting a run right from the three-point line, called Markel Johnson sleeping, and you see Beatty doing a good job. And then how about Radford being able to prevent taking the offensive foul and then finish around the rim?
In 5 games against ACC opponents this year, Tyrese Radford is 18 for 23 from the field. And he's not 6'8", he's 6'1".
Yeah, but I think with the energy that he plays with, and again, we talked about players taking on the characteristics of their coach. And you know, anybody that knows Mike Young, and this is one of the most fiery coaches in Division I basketball.
Nolly steps inside the arc, tough teardrop, gets it back, hangs in the air and scores. You kidding me?
So let's go back to how that got set up. You had 2 NC State players going back because you have to honor the 3. Got the runner, being able to know to get the putback. Talking about an exciting player.
Wolfpack need it, and it's not there for Helms.
Frustration starting to mount for NC State, because Virginia Tech doing a good job of being able to chase them off of what they want to do. Again, still plenty of time left to go in this game. It seems like it's been all Virginia Tech up by 11, but this is a team in NC State that can come back, but you got to get a stop on the other end.
It is an 8-0 run right now for the Hokies. Aline unable to add to it. Nice move, though.
Yeah, but if I'm Mike Young, I don't like that shot. We've been able to get whatever we want. You see yet another turnover by NC State.
Wolfpack coaches just shaking their heads on the bench. This could be the dagger. There you go.
Aline coming up big, knocking down that 3. Another timeout by NC State. You see penetration. Beatty passes up an easy layup and gets it over to his buddy, Aline. Virginia Tech up by 14. Let him hear it.
Hokies have surged in front by 14. Wabisa Beatty maybe as good as anyone in the country at impacting the game without scoring.
And that last play, he had a wide open layup. And a lot of times you want to see that, but they're opting to be able to get the ball. I mean, look, wide open layup, but then passes to get it over to Naheem Aline, a guy who's been struggling all afternoon, knocks down that three. And this is, again, for this Virginia Tech team, they've got a leader in Beatty who understands where to get the ball to his players. Very important for them and what they've been able to do today. And again, Mike Young talked about how invaluable he's been.
They're 11-0 this year when holding opponents below 43.4. NC State well below that margin with 4 minutes to go. Markel Johnson just 2 of 13 from the field. Thunderberg's been the go-to guy. Second chance and one.
Again, you see the point. You run the play, you run the pick and roll. You be able to get a guy that you have to honor in Andre and get the ball inside the Thunderbird. Not getting the first look, but then he'll be able to use his length to be able to get the offensive rebound for the possible and one. I think that in the gut of the game, last 4 minutes, this is something you try to exploit if you're NC State.
Fourth foul on Horn. Thunderbird now with 18 points in the game. DJ's having a great offensive scoring stretch. But may go for not today. Cross midcourt to Beatty. Remember, Beverly's playing with 4. He picked up his 4th very early in the second half.
Well, I think that if you have Beverly on the floor guarding Beatty, Beatty has proven as a guy that's not really going to look for his own shot. You try to stay in front of him, don't get caught reaching.
Too strong off the backboard for Nolly. Great length from Nolly. Got a piece of that pass. Hellam steps into it. Just not there for the Wolfpack.
Again, I know that this is a shot that normally Hellam's may hit, but I go back to the pick and roll. The pick and roll between Johnson and Thunderbird has paid its dividends for them. I'm not saying that Helms doesn't shoot that shot, but I think that right now you go back, especially when you've had some success in it.
First foul on Thunderbird, 5th on the Wolfpack. Nolly 2 shy, I think 3 shy of his career high right now.
And Evan, we talked earlier, if you're NC State, try to slow down Nolly. You see Beatty doing a good job of being able to split it. But the guy that has stepped up and been the difference maker for Virginia Tech has been Tyrese Radford.
Yep.
And again, he's a guy that at 6'1" or 2", if on a good day, has done a good job of being able to defend the bigger wings from North Carolina State.
For Radford, 12 of his career high 18 have come here in the second half. He's 8 of 11 now from the game. He also has 9 rebounds. Radford looking for another double-double. Be his second of the year if he can get it. Beatty turns it over for just the second time. Johnson dribbling on his knees, somehow gets the pass to Helms. Markel kicks it. Extra pass. Andre from the corner. At 3 brings NC State back within 8 with 2:37 to go.
That last play, they had a mismatch down there. And you see Virginia Tech trying to get back, trying to hold off North Carolina State's rate. 8-point lead, Hokies.
NC State just used its final timeout after Pat Andre drained the 3 from the corner. Andre, one of 2 members of the pack in double figures. He's got 11. Thunderberg's got 18. But on the Virginia Tech side, Nolly's got 27. Tyrese Radford with 18. Jalen Cohn has added 8 off the bench, and Beatty has been the quarterback behind Virginia Tech's offensive surge.
And coming out of timeout, if you're Mike Young, I tell my guys, you know, hey, run our offense. We don't have to force any shots. The clock is our friend. You get the ball into Wabisi Beatty's hands and let him be able to penetrate. If you can get something to Nolly, fine. And again, the cut from Radford has paid off on plenty of occasions.
Into Cone with Beverly on him in the backcourt. Now pressure coming with Johnson. Got to get it across, and he does. 21 on the shot clock once Cone crossed the timeline. Nolly's been the guy late in the shot clock. He reposts on Beverly. If NC State can score here, they're right back in it. Wolfpack just 1 of 9 from 3 in the second half. Deep one, Andre can't connect.
I thought Andre missed on the first one. He, I think, passed up the first look and decided that he had to throw it up there.
Sometimes it just comes down to whether you make or miss, and the Wolfpack have missed 9 of their 10 threes in the second half. 6 for 27 in the ball game. Remember, they started 2 for 2. Cone, 2 more.
Good recognition by Cone, realizing he's got Beverly, who's got 4 fouls on him. Put his head down again as a guy that's got a tremendous lift. Good finish at the rim.
Beatty steals it away. He has completely worn out Markel Johnson, who looks like he's ready for the bus.
And that's one of the things, too, again, for Beatty. A guy who sacrificed his offense, but again, has been huge today because of what he's been able to do. And how about how he's been pestering Markel Johnson all afternoon long, coming up with a big steal that could possibly seal this win today.
Beatty 60% from the line this year. No points today, but 2 rebounds, 7 assists. First, a quick word from Myrtle Beach Golf Trail.
Myrtle Beach Golf Trail, a new way to experience golf in Myrtle Beach. Visit myrtlebeachgolftrail.com.
Jalen Cone in double figures for the 2nd straight game now after scoring career-high 19 at Syracuse. Chatted with him briefly after practice yesterday. Asked him what it meant to have that game in the Carrier Dome, and he said it meant a lot for a lot of reasons, mainly because it means that Mike Young will trust him more. And we asked Mike Young about it. He thought it was a really astute observation because that's absolutely true. You have a game like that on the road as a freshman, transforms what your expectations are.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. Most freshmen that come in aren't ready to play in this league. And so when you come in and you're able to produce, especially on the road, then it is obvious that you're going to get a little bit more freedom from your coach.
Most of Virginia Tech's freshmen are ready to play in this league. That's news for you.
Well, and here's the thing what Mike Young did say is that, you know what, he's got to give these guys baptism by fire because he doesn't really have a choice.
That's true.
Considering what he had coming into the season, he's got a style of play. They're a team that plays really good on defense. They're going to lock you up. And then having a guy like Landers Nolly who can score gives an awful lot of freedom for the other players.
28 now for Nolly. Scored 30 in his debut. Best debut in Virginia Tech history, and he was not a flash in the pan. And back to the drawing board for NC State. They've got 2 home games coming up. Winnable games against Miami and Clemson before the schedule really gets tough. And NC State hopefully will get C.J. Bryce back and learn a lot about themselves. What have we learned about the Hokies? They are a contender now in year 1 for Mike Young.
Very good Virginia Tech team. This was not a bad NC State. It was a good day for Virginia Tech. This is a good NC State team. They're going to do better once they get C.J. Bryce back into their lineup.
Beatty has to shoot it, and he's going to give Couture the turnover. It's a veteran move right there by Beatty. Kevin Keats is going to remain winless against Virginia Tech. He has not beaten the Hokies, the Virginia Cavaliers, or the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. One final heave for Beverly. It was not NC State's day. And after falling behind 10-0 in the opening minutes, Virginia Tech destroys the Wolfpack the rest of the way. Final score, Virginia Tech 72, NC State 58. 29 for Nolly, 18 for Radford, Cone adding 10 off the bench. And Virginia Tech is the team that's 3-2 in the ACC. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back to wrap it up from Cassell Coliseum in just a moment. number 311 in the illustrious career for Mike Young. 299 of them in Spartanburg, South Carolina for the Wofford Terriers, and number 12 today for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Evan Lepler, Brian Oliver back with you courtside. Just a really impressive performance. Virginia Tech withstood NC State's opening punch, and then were the better team for the next 35 minutes.
I think it was their defense that limited it and forced NC State into a lot of bad shots during the day. We talked a lot about Landers Nolly, but again, I think some of the things that were onside that we should have talked about was with BC Beatty and how he was able to shut down Markel Johnson, and then Tyrese Radford. I thought that he was the guy that gave them a huge shot in the arm at the beginning of the second half.
Career high 18 points for Tyrese Radford. He goes 8 of 11. Nolly just makes a bunch of plays where he's like, I'm better than you, and that's a great guy to have in late shot clock situations. And this feels like a complete team. They also really defended well tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, especially coming off of this win that they had on the road against Syracuse, to come back and beat a good NC State team at home. Got to be happy with Mike Young.
We thank you again for watching this presentation of ACC College Hoops. Don't forget North Carolina and Clemson. History from Chapel Hill one way or another, starting at 4:30 with Tom Wormy and Bobby Cremins. But from here in Blacksburg, for Brian Oliver and our entire ACC crew, I'm Evan Lepler saying so long. Have a great weekend, everybody.